Hello and welcome back. This is second video on AI-assisted secure peer review for DevSecOps pipeline. In first video, we went through the project plan, what all we'll be doing, and what is the goal, what we want to achieve, and why it is important, and how AI agent can help us reviewing our pull requests. So in second video, we will go through the prerequisites that are required for this project. So we have categorized our prerequisites in three sections: accounts, local tooling, and knowledge. So in accounts, first prerequisite is GitHub account, which is free. You can just sign up using your federated ID, or you can use your email address to sign up. We will not go through this process. If you have reached to this level where you want to review your pull request using AI, then you must know that how to configure or sign up for the GitHub account. So it's very simple, straightforward process. The only suggestion is that you should configure multi-factor authentication with your GitHub account. Second account that we will need for this project is Terraform Cloud. Again, this is optional thing. You just need to sign up for now. But why we need Terraform Cloud is for the TF state. So with the help of TF state, multiple developers can push changes to your Azure infrastructure. And it is important that we have that. There are alternatives, like you can also use blob storage, Azure blob storage, or S3 buckets for TF state, but it is recommended to use free tier of Terraform Cloud. Third account is either AWS or Azure. Again, this is free account that you can sign up for. For the sake of this video, for this demo, we will be using Azure account, but it's up to you whether you want to use AWS or Azure. But I recommend Azure because all of our Terraform code and Terraform provider will be used for Azure. Fourth and most important is either OpenAI or Anthropic API key. Anthropic is same as Anthropic is Claude actually. So again, I'll be using Anthropic API keys, but if you are more comfortable with OpenAI, you can do that as well. In terms of local tooling, we will need to download and install Visual Studio Code, Terraform CLI, Git should be configured, and Python 3.100 plus. Knowledge, you should have basic Git or GitHub workflow knowledge. You should have some familiarity with the YAML, basic cloud concepts you should know, and Python basics should be helpful because our AI agent will be based on Python. Moving on to next slide, the objective of this video number 2 is to get our GitHub repo configured. Azure account should be configured up and ready. Terraform Cloud account should be configured up and ready. Visual Studio Code should be downloaded and installed. Azure Service Principal should be created. This is the service account that we'll be using to push our code from our Visual Studio to repo and from GitHub workflow to Azure. So this is very important. There are alternates to that, but the right way and the proper way is to configure Azure Service Principal ID. Cloud integration preparation ready. So in this video, we'll just make sure that we sign up to Cloud. A generation of API keys and other stuff we'll see later. We'll cover in later videos. Repository prepared for future videos. So we'll try to clone this repo to our Visual Studio, and we'll also try to push some basic changes to see that whether we are able to push changes to our repo successfully or not. Moving on, these are the important links that you should note down. These will be available in the video description as well. So this is the URL to sign up to GitHub, same thing to download and install Visual Studio Code, Azure sign up, Azure CLI, Terraform Cloud, Cloud AI, and OpenAI if you want to use OpenAI, either of them, either Cloud AI or OpenAI. So these will be our tasks. First, we'll configure GitHub, then Visual Studio, Azure, Terraform, Azure Service Principal, Cloud, repo structure, Terraform starter files, Git commit and push, environment validation. Extensions. These are the important extensions for Visual Studio Code. Once you download and install Visual Studio Code, make sure you install these extensions. This is first one is HashiCorp, then GitHub Actions, Python, YAML, Azure Terraform, and ErrorLens. This is optional, but it will help you identify errors more easily. All right, so this is the process to create Azure Service Principal. So what you have to do is, if you are using Mac, just go to your terminal, run this command brew update, then brew install Azure CLI, and then to verify it, just type in Azure AZ version, and if it looks good, then type in AZ login. After it will open up browser window where you enter your Azure credentials. Once you sign into your browser, that should close automatically, and you should move back to your CLI, where you will have to run this command AZ account show query ID output TSV. It will show you your subscription ID. I will not go through these steps because it will expose some sensitive data which I don't want to show here. Second command that you should run is AZADSP create for RBAC. So we'll be creating a role-based access name AIPR review SP. So it will be a service principal for AIPR review, and its role will be contributor, and scope will be limited to this subscription. So subscription ID, which will be shown in the previous command, you need to copy and paste it here, and after hit enter. When you hit enter, you will get this information: app ID, password, and tenant. You should copy and paste this information somewhere safe, because we'll need this information later. Next and last step is git clone https your repo name. I'll show you how to do it, and then git commit. So all right, so after you have configured prerequisites, the first thing that you should do is to log into your GitHub portal. So once you log in, this is something similar to this you'll see. When you click on the repositories tab, click new. This is where you have an option to create a new repository. Let's give it some descriptive name which is easy to remember, something like AI review pull request for YouTube, and some description like this repo is created for AI reviews of PR pull request in DevSecOps, and also add README file. That's it. Hit create repository. It will create a repository with only one README file, and README file will have description. This is a repo. All right, so now let's copy this URL and go to the Visual Studio that we have installed. So when you open Visual Studio for the first time, you will have these options. So what we should do is we should create a new folder for this repo. So click on open, and then let's go to desktop. Let's select this folder. This is an empty folder, and we'll click on open. All right, let's close this file. Okay, so now we are in the folder. So let's do one thing. Let's see what all we have here. We don't have anything. We are inside the repo folder. So what we should do is next is to clone this repo. So command to clone the repo is git clone, and then you paste the URL that you have copied from the GitHub portal. Hit enter. So now it has downloaded the whole repo from GitHub, and let's first see if it is there. Yes. Now let's get into that folder, cd AI review. Okay, now type ls again, so you will see the readme file. This readme file should be viewable from here as well. Now that we have downloaded the repo to our local Visual Studio, Let's try to make some change and we'll push it to uh, GitHub to see if it really works. So let's call it, this is a test change to GitHub repo for video 02 of AI assisted PR review. We'll save it. Make sure you save it before you push any change. After you have saved change, next step is to create a branch. We can directly push this change to a main branch as well, but the whole purpose of this exercise of this project is to make sure that you can review pull requests through AI. So let's create a branch. For that, we'll type in git checkout -b and then branch name. Let's call it video 2. Enter. Now we have switched to a new branch. Let's see if let's enter git add space dot. So this will add all the changes. Before we commit, let's verify what all changes are being done. So it says modified readme.md file. Next step is to commit these changes. So we'll use git commit -m for comments. So let's add some comments. Test change to readme file. Hit enter. And then final command is git push origin and then branch name. So what we are doing is we are pushing that branch. We are creating a pull request to push the branch into a main origin file. So for that, our branch name is video2. This is the branch that we created in the first command. All right. So now it says that create a pull request for video2 on GitHub by visiting this link. So either you can click on this link or you can go back to your GitHub repo. If you refresh the page, you will see a pull request has been created. It's called video2 has recent pushes 19 seconds ago. Let's click on compare and pull request. So if you go to the bottom of the page, you will see what changes have been done. This is a test change to GitHub repo for video 02 for AI assisted PR view. These are the changes that we made through our Visual Studio. So we have reviewed the changes. We can see one file has been changed, one contributor. So let's create a pull request. When we create a pull request, now because AI is not there, we haven't added AI features yet, neither DevSec or anything else. So there have been no reviews yet. If once we add AI and other checks, all the comments and the checks will be shown here. So now it says no conflict with the base branch. So merge pull request and we say confirm merge. Once the pull request successfully merged and closed, if you go back to your repo, you should see the change. If now in the README file, you can see this repo is created for AI review. This was already there, but these are the changes that we pushed from our Visual Studio, and it is successfully committed to our repo. So this is all what we wanted to test in this video. We have achieved creating a repo, pushing changes from our Visual Studio code. We can see it is working. We can create branch, and from the branch we can push changes to the main branch and commit the changes. Now in next video, what we'll do is simply we'll create a Terraform code to create a resource in Azure. But before we create a resource in Azure, we'll have to connect Azure to our Visual Studio and our GitHub. So we'll have to enter the credentials, the service principal account that we created, and once that is connected, then we'll create a resource. So in next video, we'll create a resource without any CI/CD workflow, without any AI integration. We'll just see how we can use Terraform code to deploy resources to Azure account. That's the plan for next video. So we'll see you there. Thank you.